Hello, I'm Christine Klaus Noble, and welcome to the very first episode of Toad Stories. Toad stands for Tales of Authentic Decisions. These are stories of what happens when people choose to do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. Sometimes the stories are true, sometimes they're fiction, and sometimes they live in that messy, beautiful middle space where truth and imagination blur, but the feeling is always real. The story I'm about to read is called Brin, and this one, it's mine. It's real life. It's my story, told from the inside. Not all of my stories will be personal, yet this one sets the tone. It's about the kind of choices that shape you, the kind of moments that ask you to show up differently, and maybe, just maybe, become more of who you truly are. So find a quiet spot, or don't. Listen while you're folding laundry, walking the dog, or driving in silence. However you're here, I'm so glad you are. Here is Brin. I'll be honest here. This story is my story. I have practiced reading it several times so I could tell it without breaking down into tears. Yet it was an important time in my life. I'm older now, wiser, softer, a totally different person. I was 27 when all this went down, and looking back, I am more fully aware of how much this event influenced some of my choices. It was a spring day at our country home. My husband and I had married young, and we were young parents. We struggled, both of us working 2 jobs at a time, but we made it. We built a life, a house in the country, a bit of land, healthy, amazing sons, and a dog we love dearly. Our dog. Her name was Brin. Honestly, more planned than either of our children. This pup had a place in my heart. It was a house full of men, except for Brin and me. We were the ladies of the house. She had this funny ritual running in circles around the truck when my husband came home, the two of them chasing each other until he jumped into the truck bed. She'd bark, he'd come back down, and they'd start all over again. These little rituals became part of our family daily fabric. Brin was a family dog, yes, but she was my heart dog, fiercely protective and affectionate, and well, let's face it, as cuddly as a German Shepherd gets. It was a spring Sunday. I was outside hanging clothes on the line. My husband was cleaning out the furnace, and our sons were at the neighbor's sugar shanty. It was maple syrup time, and they were pulling spigots. Brin was with me, and I heard an unusual noise, and I looked up, and I saw a flock of white tundra swans soaring overhead. I didn't see them touch down in the field across the road, but Brin did. In an instant, she took off after them. I barely had time to register what was happening before I heard the thud. Down the road, a car had pulled over. Brin lay on the pavement. I screamed for my husband. He ran out and saw her. The man who had hit her was already walking towards us. The husband and the man lifted Brin into the back of our truck. The moment they laid her down, she took her last breath. I was devastated, sobbing, apologizing to the man over and over again. I am so sorry. She was my responsibility. I'll pay for the damage to your car. He said nothing. He simply nodded and walked back to his vehicle, while my husband held me as I broke apart in the laneway. Our boys, 8 and 11, were devastated. Our family was in deep grief. I didn't go to work Monday. The boys stayed home from school. My husband, always the one to deal with grief by keeping busy, he went to work. That Monday, while the boys and I were curled up on the couch watching movies, the phone rang. A landline, because that's what we had back then. I answered, but the caller hung up. I dialed *69 and called back. A hesitant voice answered, hello? We met yesterday. In front of your house about the dog? Yes, I remember you, I said. How can I help you? Can I come over? I said yes, assuming he wanted to settle the cost of the damage. I told my boys, the man who hit Brin is coming over. We owe him money. I don't want to hear any unkind words. It wasn't his fault. An hour later, there was a knock at the back door, the mudroom entrance. I went to answer it. He stood there looking uncomfortable and asked, "Can you come to the car?" I recoiled. "No, I don't want to see the damage. Just tell me how much and I'll write the check." He was quiet, then his voice broke. "Please, please come to the car." Something in his face made me follow. My boys trailed behind. He opened the car door, and there, sitting in the seat, was a German Shepherd puppy with ears way, way too big for her head. He lifted her in my arms. She licked the tears from my face, wiggling to get down and eager to meet my boys. The joy in their laughter was a sharp contrast to the grief still pressing on my chest. The man handed me her papers and everything from the greeter. Then, without another word, he left. Should I have said no? Maybe. I normally would believe that you should wait a full year before you bring in another four-legged family member, but there she was, and my sons were already in love. When my husband came home, he parked in the laneway and he just sat there struggling. His ritual with Brin running around the truck wasn't happening today, and I could see the weight of it in his posture while he was sitting in the truck. I scooped up that giant puppy with ears like antennas, carried her outside, and opened the truck door. She leaped into his lap, whining and licking his face, wiggling to play. He stared at me bewildered. What did you do?" "She was dropped off by the man who hit Brin," I said. What else could I say except thank you? This new pup had rules. Oh, she had rules, really strict ones. We trained her intensely, ensuring she never, ever set foot near the road. No chances were taken. And she was so different from Brin in looks and personality. But when I connected with the breeder, I learned that she and Brin shared a grandparent. It felt like a full circle moment. We had Cole for over 12 years. That's what we named her. She was loyal, loving, and protective. And even as I write this, the tears were streaming down my face, because this isn't just a story about losing one dog and getting another, or the kindness of another human being. Oh no, this is something much, much deeper. I'll tell you. My husband and I had built our life from nothing, married young, teen parents. We worked hard and asked for nothing from anyone. We had this unyielding belief that success came from sheer willpower. If we could do it, so could anyone else. No excuses. If someone needed help, we were not the people to ask. Opportunities are out there, we'd say. Go change your own life. But then this man, this stranger, who by no fault of his own hit a dog on a country road, damaged his car, and because he thought it was the right thing to do, went out, found a breeder, and bought a purebred German Shepherd for our family. Imagine that. We talked about it for days. What kind of person does that? I said. I want to be that kind of person. I want to be the kind of person that does something like that. The very next day, a car was pulled over on the side of the road, and I wasn't with my husband, but he told me that he stopped to help, and he got them gas, and he worked some magic under the hood, and he sent them on their way. Then he told me the story, and I could hear something in his voice. It felt really good to help. And the ripples go on. Little did I know, that moment was just the beginning. We started noticing opportunities to be like the man who brought the dog. Over time, we didn't have to think about it. It is who we are. And now, we enjoy our sons' very well-trained German Shepherds, watching them care for their dogs like we once did. The ripples of kindness, compassion, and empathy are still spreading. One random act of kindness changed the way we saw the world, changed how we show up in the world, shifted us, and now it is woven into who we are. It amazes me how for a single moment, a single decision to do the right thing, to do the thing that your heart says is right, and this is what can create waves that touch lives far beyond what we can see.